And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I have some new news concerning Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. And, of course, the ongoing uproar over some things that he said about traveling gypsies. You know, these guys have recently, led by Tyson Fury, had a rally against, what is it? TLM. Davey L. Counterpunch to you, brother. We got 17 on the chat. Hit the like button. And what do you guys think about it? I'll let it load. You guys give me a shout out. My comment will trigger you. Okay. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. D-Town Blaster. What's up, Kurt? Hit that like button as you guys come in. Follow that cab for D-Town Blaster. Thank you for the super chat. BJ Ben 03. What's up, brother? Everything's good. Nice, full, rested, ready to counterpunch. You know, a lot of people have had something to say about Wilder and his comments about the traveling gypsies. Philip Carl Roberts, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Everything's good. I am very well. Feeling a lot better. Jude Celestine, counterpunch to you. Cisco Perez. What's up, Cisco in the house? Counterpunch to you guys. Now, we have Deontay Wilder, Lydia Dones, or Leno Donis. Counterpunch to you. You know, I feel that Wilder, I think he was just pissed off at Fury, but then to go about a whole race of people, it's not the smartest thing to do, you know. But the funny thing about it, okay, Sige from Dem Dar Hills, man, he's now trying to fight a whole nation of people. Well, what he was trying to do, I believe Wilder was trying to prove a point. And the point made that, you know, Irish travelers or whatnot, they are, or gypsies or whatever people call them, you know, they are known to do some certain type of stuff because, you know, they were in the news lately. They had the protests because of, you know, the things that they couldn't do. Right. They couldn't go to certain places. To this day, they couldn't go to certain restaurants. They'll get kicked out. And my question is, how do you know if you run across a gypsy? Because aren't gypsies white? I mean, you know, Deontay Wilder, next excuse, Tyson Fury put magic spell on me. Yeah, I will. Well, actually, that is an excuse. So that's actually already one. My comment will trigger you. JP, blessings to you back, brother. Fabian Asensio. Big one. And Cube Insight. What's going on, Kurt? What you got for us? When did this interview happen, bro? Well, it happened when he was on Brian Custer. He was on Brian Custer, and he made a comment that got a lot of people pissed off. And that's what I want to talk to you guys tonight briefly about. He said that gypsies will do anything to cheat. He also said that if a gypsy has an opportunity to mess over you and they don't, they're considered like how did he word it? They're considered weak or soft, something like that, something around the lines of that. So anyway, what he was doing, he was trying to link his case together that Tyson Fury is a cheat, and if he's cheated before, he'll cheat again. That's what Deontay Wilder is saying to people. That's why he mentioned the whole race of gypsies, because he is a gypsy, which is not a smart thing to do. It ain't. I mean, because many, many, many reasons. Imagine if that shit was turned around. Imagine if you turned this whole scenario around and Tyson Fury felt cheated after he got knocked out by Deontay Wilder. Right? Let's understand, people, there were rumors that Wilder had something in his gloves too. I don't know if that was a retaliation from the other side or from Fury. So I don't know, but it didn't last long because everybody knows how hard Wilder hits or whatever, and we're aware of the metal in his hands. I mean, I never really reported that because that was just something that was needed for him to get better to brace his bones together, his brackets between his bones, because he has metal plates in his hand. But I mean, will that allow him to punch harder? I mean, he's always punched hard, but um, Ebo Sosa, Wilder has the nerve to talk about to this day and the treatment of other people, then turn around and make a blanket statement like that. This dude, the embodiment of hypocrisy. Ebo Sosa, salute to you, brother. Great counterpunch. You know, I was getting around to that. Um, you have a guy that is to certain people a leader. You know, people follow him, people admire him, people look for him for encouragement, a voice, but a voice encouragement for what? You know, for discrimination. To this day, what do you think to this day is supposed to mean? Our people have been struggling 400 years to this day, and then you turn around and say, "Hey, you know what? You know those gypsies will cheat you. They're a bunch of cheating people anyway." Come on, man. I mean, how does that really sound? You know, what I mean, I hate the comparison, but it's like, okay, what if Jesse Jackson said that? I ain't gonna compare me in an MLK. I'm not gonna do that. But what if Jesse Jackson say, "Hey, you know, I'm for our people. You know, I don't want to be discriminated against." But the first thing you do is discriminate. The first thing you do is discriminate. That makes no sense. It is his hypocrisy. Just like Ebo Sosa said. Shout out to you, brother. Jimmy Graham, we prefer travelers. Now, I did hear, okay, just to put everything out on the table. Why are gypsies prohibited from going into particular places? Like, what's the big deal with gypsies? I mean, I've seen Snatch and stuff like that, but I don't really know because I've never been to the UK. So what is it about gypsies that keep people or want or have people not wanting them in their vicinities or their establishments? Marvin Thomas, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Oh, Cisco Perez, a little buzz right now from tequila, but still listening to you, Kurt. You're awesome. Appreciate you, man. Don't drink too much. Mix it with something. He has nothing good to say about boxing that has made him rich. David Moore, what's up, man? What Moore's in the house? Kurt, let's get it. David Moore, counterpunch to you, brother. Nevada State Athletic Commission come out with a statement. I mean, late tubers, they already did. The Nevada Athletic Commission already came out with a statement. And I think it was I don't even know if it was after that. I think they already had came out with a statement saying there was no wrongdoing. They have looked and investigated because you had people wanting an investigation of the accusations of Wilder. That's when Wilder didn't say shit. That was when I believe the time frame was when Young Pharaoh, which is not even a boxing channel. At best, he's a casual boxing fan, but I mean, he's not a boxing channel. And it's sad, like other supposedly boxing channels jumped on that narrative with a guy that doesn't know anything about boxing. You know, it's just, man, it's sad, sad. Wilder has inherited Fury's mental health issues. Ooh, Marvin, man, that's low. But I mean, a lot of people are accusing him of not having, a sound mind right now. BJ Ben 03, Wilder can't take a loss. No humility about him. You know, look, that interview was something, man. And we learned a lot. We learned how he felt, and I think that was just him getting it off his chest. So, but back to what we've been talking about, I think he went at that wrong. You know what I mean? And he went at a whole group of people to target one person. You see what I mean? Let's make okay. Let's just say you don't like Bruce Lee because Bruce Lee uh, pissed you off. Let's get those likes up. We got 100 in the chat. Let's get those likes up. With what Wilder said, I think he's still drugged from that fight. Well, Lydia Dones or Dones. Lydia, if he was drugged, though, seriously speaking, we would have seen it in the toxicology report or the autopsy. And see, that's the sad thing when you have people speaking for you that don't know certain terms and makes them look like a fucking idiot. His brother said an autopsy. And I try not to even really, because I know he just didn't know the terminology, but it also shows you that he didn't go to nobody that got that information by saying autopsy. He had to make that shit up listening to CSI Miami or New York or Las Vegas by saying, autopsy. He could have said examination showed or the examination or the results of tests. He didn't say that. He said an autopsy. So, I mean, people laugh at that type of shit and a lot of people, when they heard that, you know how it goes. If you say something that does that, like a off term, people don't take you seriously. That's just like misspelling something. A lot of people, oh, that guy can't even spell. I'm not unsubbed. So, a lot of people don't take you seriously if you don't use the right grammar or the right vernacular. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Wilder has already lost his UK fan base a while back. He was welcome to the UK, but went back to the US and called UK fans racist just to sell the fight. Yeah, I remember he made that. I made a video about that, and he pulled the race card, and it wasn't even the race card. He pulled the because he's dark skinned shit, and he threw that on the UK, and it's really stupid because I know why he said that. Wilder said that because he was looking at Anthony Joshua, which is lighter than him, and then the funny thing about that is. That he's Nigerian, right? He has a lot of Nigerian blood in him. Wilder does. Anthony Joshua's from Nigerian parents. These motherfuckers might be related on the cool. You know what I mean? But I mean, and he knows nothing about the UK to talk about the UK. That's why I'm asking about Irish travelers or gypsies, because I never been to the UK. So I'm not going to pretend to know what you guys' problems are in the UK. I mean, for the ones that's in the UK. So for him to say they don't like me because I'm dark skinned, I mean, that's stupid. Frank Bruno is blacker than you. So what are you talking about? And they love Frank Bruno. I think boxing gave him a lobotomy. I mentioned that's fucked up. I mentioned you on Dante's Boxing Nation and he banned me. Oh, Sly Tendencies. You can't go over to Dante's Boxing Nation and say anything about Counterpunch Boxing News. You're going to get blocked, reported, and every damn thing. We had to go head to head, me, him, and his stepson, bitch. K. Jackson, Kurt, what's good, my brother? Oh, everything's good, man. Everything's good. Wilder seems lost right now. Too many yes men around him. G-Man 83. Yeah, I believe that. But I think when you surround yourself with so many people, you're asking to be deceived. You're just asking to be deceived. I mean, if you look at the things of Sly Tendencies, R.I.P. Dante's Boxing Nation, because you killing them. Hey, counterpunch to you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Sly Tendencies, 87. Should put 1 in front of that 87. 187. The boxing source. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Everything's good. Everything's good. I'm from England, in the same area as Fury. Basically, they like to drink, fight, and steal. Okay, Chris. See, you have an understanding of that, and I guess maybe Wilder started asking around about gypsies or whatever. And he found this man to be unjust. He said this man, not only did he cheat in the second fight, he cheated in the first fight. And this is my problem I have with that. I don't care for delayed reactions or responses just because it's convenient for now, just because a certain result happened. See, he couldn't get enough of Fury. He wanted Fury in the ring. He said, I'm going to glue him to the canvas. I'm going to kill him this time. I want a body in the ring. He wanted Fury bad as he ever wanted any other fighter. Okay. He liked talking shit about Joshua, but when contracts went over, but Fury, that was his boy. Fury was the guy that he wanted so bad. So my thing is, it took you guys, your team, whoever was around you, 2 fights to find out a man was cheating. Because the way Wilder said it, he was like, well, you know what? He was cheating in the first fight. Well, he was cheating in the first fight. Why we never heard of that? Why we didn't hear of him cheating in the first fight? We heard nothing of that. And I can answer that question and read a page of truth with my eyes closed and tell you guys the reason he didn't say anything, because for one, none of that was a factor. It wasn't even relevant. And for two, he didn't lose. Now, if he would have lost, people probably would have been looking and reaching. Maybe, maybe not, because I think it's the way he got beat. He just got beat the fuck up. I'm sorry, he just got beat up. And then the way he got beat up and the way his legs weren't under him every time he landed a punch, and he did a good job landing the punches right away. They just didn't have any effect on Fury. Okay, well, the problem is with Wilder is I think the way he got beat up, and it's embarrassing. When you get embarrassed the way Wilder got embarrassed that night, you better find something. That's why you got 6 or 7 things. You have those type of excuses that you reaching for and all that shit. You're looking at little young Farrakhan guys to uplift you and shit and throw a scandal up and all this. You know what I'm saying? Because this would be different if we had something tangible. And the thing about Wilder, I think he's still going about this wrong. Because if Wilder been cheated, I don't want you guys to understand. If Wilder been cheated, the last thing he wants to do is come out and say he been cheated. Imagine this. Imagine if Andy Ruiz in the first fight, right, would have had some slick shit in his gloves and fucked Anthony Joshua up. Do you think Anthony Joshua would have came out and said he'd been cheated? What do you think Anthony Joshua would have really did, him and his team? They would have investigated. And then honestly, I don't even think that with those type of guys, I don't even think that would have even transpired. I think Andy Ruiz would have been caught, because I think Anthony Joshua has better people around him that make sure things go the way they should go. I never seen a situation like this in a very long time. Look, when Cotto fought Margarito and Mosley, you know how fucking long ago? That was 11 years ago. That was over a decade ago. And things have changed a lot since then. You know, have they slacked off? I don't know, but I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of things have changed since then. Gypsies have a reputation of getting drunk and then fighting. I could see that. They take over Publix and too many at the same time, and puts locals off from visiting because it's intimidating. Oh, okay. They're kind of like bikers and shit. They used to drive away and sell carpets. Gypsies are nice people. Had a few of them who lived in a car park in their caravan near me. They are a very tribal and live the wildlife. They are different groups. There are different groups. Okay. It's common them in a Aki channel, so it's people who disagree with Fury cheating are called decavs, and they still try to say it's not about race. Well, they have a niche. I mean, if you get a group of people that are racist, right? You want to go to a leader that talks about racist shit. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, boxing is the secondary. Racism is the primary, of channels like that. There are Irish travelers and the Romani people, right? Have you heard about Wilder saying Fury's fingernails scratched him? Yeah, Top Cat, I heard that. Yeah, I mean, in I don't know, man. It's a lot of that shit. If you come up with so many excuses in what's happening, Wilder's engines were channels, and the channels they pushed so much content out. They pushed so much content out about Glovegate, Glovegate Water, Spike, Glovegate 2, Glovegate 1, Spiked Water, Martin Carefoot, uh, sparring partners, and stuff like that. They pushed so much of that out to the point where the more you hear it, the more you want to believe it. And then they also associated Jose Resto and Billy Collins and Miguel Cotto and Margarito, along with they tried to even throw, which this was real shitty. I had to counterpunch it real quick. They threw Floyd Mayweather in there with Madonna, and it's shitty because all those situations, the first two were similar because they were just flat out cheating. Um, Madonna and Floyd Mayweather. Okay, no, sports news TV. No, I mean because the explanation is Wilder was saying all gypsies are bad. Like they fuck over you the first chance they get, and if they don't, they punks. That's what he said in an interview. So so the question is, are all bad? I don't know any. You know what I mean? I watch one sing after he whoops somebody's ass, and that's Tyson Fury, but I don't know him personally. You know, so sports news TV that explains everything. Tyson Fury had loaded gloves. Tyson Fury had loaded gloves. See, here's the thing: if he had loaded gloves, where are the evidence of the loaded gloves? See, the important thing about finding out if a person is cheating is evidence, right? Because to me, if I say, man, what hit you? That don't sound like something that a glove hit you with. But if you can't find the gloves and the gloves were already cleared, how can you prove that a person did something like that to you? Not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying, how are you going to do that? That's my only concern, because at this point, you want to fight another fight with Tyson Fury. You knew he was cheating the first fight. You knew he was cheating the second fight, but we just all hearing about it after the second fight. So the question is, the people around you that's supposed to have been watching Tyson Fury, with his gloves and all that, failed you twice, and I guarantee you that same person was JD's responsible for going in there two times. But nobody wants to talk about that. Because see, here's my thing. I honestly don't believe that this is what I don't believe. I don't believe that the channels that claim they support Deontay Wilder, I don't think they give a fuck about Deontay Wilder. He's just a tool to make money. He's just a person that's hot at the time that people talk about, and they push the narrative because you have enough stupid fucking people that believes whatever they hear, especially when it satisfies their mind when they're already compromised, because there are some racist pieces of shit too. I mean, understand, racism is ignorance. So all you need is ignorant people. So if you had 200,000 ignorant fucking people, they're gonna listen to the same shit. You know, it's one hell of a thing to follow, but it's a whole different thing to lead. So a lot of these people don't think for themselves. Who blames JD's? We do. EC twins. I'm with you. I blame JD's. And see, and that's why I know right there. EC twins. Guys, listen to me. Those channels cannot support. And and they're fake fucking channel. Look, they know race sales. That's why they talk about race, because enough people can rev everybody up about race, and oh, the black man got cheated, and the white man is the devil, this, that, and the other. They do that shit because they know it's enough people that would support that shit because they have it in their hearts due to discrimination of whatever happened back in the day or whatever. But they know enough people are going to do that. And that's why I know they don't really support Deontay Wilder. If they really supported Deontay Wilder, they would go after JD's because they know JD's is not fit to manage Deontay Wilder. But they won't say that because he hasn't said it. I guarantee you, if Deontay Wilder said, you know what, JD's, I fired him too, then that's the green light. I don't need a fucking green light. I run red lights, so I don't need a green light to say what I want to say. Because I'm not a yes man. I'm a real man. So real men speak. Real men speak the truth. The truth is JD's was responsible for looking after him to make sure the other side, the opposing team, doesn't cheat him. But he didn't do that in 2 fights. Wilder said he cheated him 2 fights, right? We're just going on what Wilder said. Okay, these are Wilder beliefs. Okay, and you still have to separate Wilder from the channels that support Wilder because I know the difference. Those channels are trying to discredit Fury, and that's all they can ever do. But instead of help, Deontay, how do you beat a fucking damn near 300-pound man that's coming at you, that's pushing you back on your back foot, right? That's constantly hitting you and making it a dirty, murky fight, that's beating you to the punch because he's a little quicker than you are. You only have one weapon compared to his 3 or 4. What are you going to do when you get back in the ring if you're granted that opportunity to fight that guy again? What are you really going to do? I mean, let's be real. What are you really going to do? Because all the conspiracy and spike water and bullshit like that, it won't help you when he's beating the shit out of you in that ring. You know what I mean? See, that one punch shit don't work all the time. And that's, I always question, what's going to happen to Wilder if that one punch knockout power doesn't work? Somebody's just going to keep beating the shit out of him until what happens? Either he's going to get knocked out, knocked down, or someone stops it. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. But he needs a better team. He should have fired everybody. He should have fired them all and got a whole new team. But it's hard being 12 fucking years in the game and getting a whole new team. I know that's tough. So I'm not coming here sounding like I'm insensitive, because I can understand if you trust somebody that you can confide in somebody. And if you notice, he's always with JD's. And I think JD's is more of a friend also. And he's probably more of a friend than a fucking coach. That's why he doesn't really know where to put him. He's a coach and he's a manager. Well, which one is he? Which one is he better than? I think he's a better friend than anything else. That's why I think him and Mark was probably hard on him. That's why he didn't like Mark. Mark was probably the guy that wanted him to actually do shit in the gym, which he admitted, like, hey, I did cut some corners. I was allowed to cut corners. Who do you think probably allowed him to cut those corners? JD's. He was a head trainer. Like, man, I don't want to do this shit. Mark, I don't want to do this shit. JD's, man, go ahead. Let's do something else then. That's more than likely what happened in that situation. So it was easier to fire someone like Mark Breland and keep JD's rather than keep Mark Breland that knows what the fuck he's doing and to fire JD's, because JD's is actually his friend and he actually got along with JD's. That's what I feel. I think Wilder got carried away with trying to be the woke superstar. Should go back to his roots, block all this noise out and work on his craft. Azuri Street, that's what he should do. That's what I thought he was doing. That's why I'm disappointed in Wilder. I thought Wilder was just, you know what? He ain't listening to this shit. He ain't bothered by this shit. He's not, he's not worried about none of this. These are just rumors that he's allowing people to say. And I question that. Joshua didn't do that shit. Joshua shut that shit down. Hey, Joshua, was something wrong with you? Was you concussed? No. But why do you think Joshua said that? Because those feeding into a bunch of bullshit, even if something was wrong with Anthony Joshua, what would it help him talking about it and talking about something that already happened? How will it help him in December dealing with something that already happened in June? You know what I'm saying? That's just a distraction. You're thinking about it, you're talking about it, you're being interviewed on it. right? And at the same time, people are saying, hey, you know what? You making excuses, motherfucker. You got your ass beat by that fat, stay puffed marshmallow man looking motherfucker. And that's exactly what happened, right? So then when he's saying, well, hey, I was concussed, I did this, I did that, I was having this going on, I was having that. If you make up all those excuses, how are you focused on the future? Joshua said, nope, nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. I'm focused on December. Exactly, Kurt. They're just race baited hustlers using Wilder's name, riding his coattail to make money. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. It's a hot priority right now. People know the game. That's the niche. That's the hustle. That's it. Shouts out to Mark Breland. Hey, shouts out to Mark Breland, for being a real trainer. And it wasn't like Mark Breland didn't say anything. Mark Breland supported Deontay Wilder, man. I've done the videos on what Mark Breland said. Hell, about Anthony Joshua doing certain shit. If you guys can remember, look back at my catalogs about Mark Breland. You know, D'Amico Miller. Fury is a known crackhead cheater, and you still back him. Who the fuck is backing Tyson Fury? This has nothing to do with Tyson Fury, Dominico. I'm not going to block you. We just got to talk some realness. And this is not other channels. I call it right down the middle. Who the fuck is defending Tyson Fury? You got to call fair fair. A duck is a duck. You call him a crackhead? Yeah. He did drugs. He said he did drugs. Did he have drugs in his system that night? Did they catch him cheating that night? Dominico asked that question. Did they catch him cheating that night? Now, would you agree if he was already cheating Wilder, shouldn't they caught that shit dead? Talk to me, Dominico. Answer these questions because these questions got to be answered. Let's hit that like button. We got 200 on the chat. Let's hit that like button. Miguel's Cotto people did not go into Margarito's dressing room. That's how Margarito's people got to do that. Cotto said, Lydia, you know what? That's fucking Cotto's problem. And you look, that's Cotto's fault. That's Cotto's team's fault. Because at the end of the day, if you look at it, at the end of the day, Cotto was cheated. I'm not going to, debate that. Kurt, what money? Deontay Wilder makes chump change compared to Joshua. Okay, that's Skrilla 50. I mean, I agree to that. I mean, he's not making Joshua's money. Sounds like you're talking about Trump supporters. Damn. Jay Rodriguez, ¿qué es lo que pasa contigo? Todo bien. Al Reyes, Wilder is the laughing stock of boxing. Well, he's certainly talked about. He has a better chance of becoming the twerk champion than the heavyweight champion. I mean, see, even then, I think it's a certain urgency or a certain priority to mention certain things at certain times. When Glovegate and all this shit was going on, Glovegate 2, this, that, and the other, he was fucking twerking. And I did one video about him twerking because, it just happened. But the point I'm trying to make is that's more important to talk about than you shaking your ass or twerking your ass on the internet. You know what I mean? I'm from Manchester, England. I know Tyson. He doesn't cheat. Okay, Teddy Turner. All right, James Jameson. Blame Wilder, no one else. Lacked skills. There you go. Que lo que? Todo bien, solo tranquilo. Hablamos para nosotros, para ustedes. Mark Breland is a good trainer. Yeah, he tried. But if nobody listens to him, or if Wilder doesn't listen to him, what can he do? Saying a group of people are all bad makes him as bad as any racist. Shameful mass generalization. Wow, what about me? Great counterpunch. Great counterpunch. What about me? Because it just makes you a hypocrite. It makes you no better than the people that you're talking about. You know what I mean? Is it shit? You can't beat them, join them, because that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing from Wilder. Okay, well, hey, um, I'm gonna be like the people that discriminate against me. Twerking Dulce. You're great, mate. Glad we found you. We grew up with Ricky Hatton. Love your channel. EC Twins. Oh man, Ricky. Ricky was a bad boy. The hit man. Appreciate your support, man. EC Twins. Terry Don. Wilder will knock out Fury next year. Well, hey, Terry Don, if he has his legs under him, there's a great possibility that he can. But whatever was wrong with his legs, make sure that's not the fucking case this time. Let's put it that way. Because the truth of the matter is we'll never know. I don't even think Wilder really knew. If Wilder really knew what was wrong with him, he's either lying or he's just deceived by the people around him. Either way, I don't honestly think he knew. He believes Mark Breland did that, but he said, I believe that he did something with my water. And I think that might be keeping Mark from suing the fuck out of him. That's if Mark will do it. But to make those kind of accusations after a guy had been with you for 12 years, that's far-fetched to me. That's real far-fetched to me. Paul Meadows, big fan of your show, Kurt. Great knowledge of boxing on the night shift while workforce watching from the UK. Top bloke. Paul, what's up, brother? Appreciate you. Hope you enjoy your shift. The good old Bronze Dawson. Merle Dixon. Ray, truth is out. Wilder is a bum. EC Twins. We are from Manchester, England. Tyson City, and lived in South Central LA before we became a success. Your opinions on racism are well put and perfectly true. Appreciate you. Dominico Miller. Okay. Wilder gave Fury a chance to revive his career. Okay. But why? Why did he do that, you think? Why did he do that? You think he really give a shit about Tyson Fury's kids do that? You know what I mean? But why do you think he really did that shit? Fury didn't even deserve to. Okay. Dominico, do you think why do you think Wilder would have gave an opportunity to somebody else like he did Tyson Fury? Why do you think he did that? But anyway, let's continue. While Fury attempting to run if he didn't cheat. But Wilder spoke out like you asked, and that's the reason Fury running. You gave bad advice. Did not give bad advice. I wanted Deontay Wilder to come out. Did not give bad advice. Obviously, that's exactly what he did, what I wanted him to do. Okay, I was surprised at what he said, and he agreed with everything that was already going on. So, it would be, for me, I would respect him. Okay, I believe this, but I don't believe that. Like he said about the bicep. He said, well, I never used that as an excuse. Well, I think that was actually the first excuse because he said, well, I injured my arm. I think he said before the fight or after the fight, and it was really unclear of was it before, was it after, was it during, you know what I mean? So that was the first excuse right there. Let's just keep it real. He said that. And that was like really the only thing he said besides all this other shit, and then maybe that would have been a reason for him, the punches not really getting off because it was his right bicep, which is, right is his bread and butter punch. You know what I mean? But no, Wilder gave Tyson Fury an opportunity that Tyson Fury didn't fucking deserve. I get you. I understand that. But understand this. Don't call Tyson Fury a runner when Tyson Fury agreed to fight you all fucking times. Do you understand the facts of all what really transpired next month? Next month, the 5th. Who's fighting on the 5th, Dominico? Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, right? Okay. The 12th, that's Pulev, Anthony Joshua. So they couldn't do it then. So they moved it to the 19th. The 19th, Fox had some type of football. I don't watch American football like I used to, but they had some type of game going, so they couldn't do it then. And then Tyson wanted to fight in December. Remember, they moved it from October to December. Okay, and before that, it was July, but it was July because of the bicep surgery, right? So this is what I'm saying. How will you call a man a runner that agreed to each and every date that someone else blocked and no fault of neither fighter? Jim Brown, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. So you're saying he ran, but then they couldn't get the fucking dates right. He just wanted to fight in December, which ironically, he's not fighting in December. Let's get those likes up. We got over 200 in the chat. Let's get those likes to 200. Don't you get tired of talking about this. Anthony Kane. At times I do. At times I do. You know, it's like either like yesterday, I was like, I've done videos that I haven't really even posted yet. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Not today. I'm going to chill today. Wilder versus Ortiz 3 for Dino Ortiz's 52nd birthday. Bum squad. James Jameson. That would be a trip. But you know what? I'm glad Ortiz wasn't on that top list, like that hit list of Wilder. I'm glad he wasn't there. I'm so glad he wasn't there, because then that would have probably been the fight that everybody didn't want to see once again. Try to punch him harder. Mr. T, yeah. Fury don't want to fight since Wilder spoke out like you said he should do. Well, do you know why I don't believe that though? Because if that's what you said was true, why did Fury? You understand time is so important, right? Time is very important, because you have to understand Fury already said that I'm not fighting Wilder because of a contract bullshit. Remember, the contract had nothing to do with him talking about what happened. Wilder said that after the fact. He didn't say that before. Now, if he'd have said, hey, I think you cheated and this, that, and the other, and then Fury decided, hey, the time that, I don't want to fight him now or whatever. He did say, I don't want to fight him no more because of what he said, because it was disrespectful, because he never heard that from Wilder before. That makes sense. Dante's racist nation. Wilder has the memory of a goldfish contradicting himself every 3 seconds. Miller, get off. Miller, get off his nuts. Everybody knows Wilder is exposed. Azuri Street, I do agree with that. I mean, I want Wilder to get his opportunity, but it's like I'm fucking tired of seeing that shit. I mean, the fight. This is 2020, and understand 2018 they supposed to fought last year, right? And the last fight probably should have been last year sometime, not this year at all. 12 years of shame. Damn, that could have been a book Mark Breland writes about Deontay Wilder. Shit, 12 years of betrayal, more like it. Wilder wasn't relevant himself at the time. It wasn't no one way street, fool. As for Wilder speaking out, he didn't. He just regurgitated the LDBC narratives. Mm. Duncan Lumley. Kurt, I'm from Birmingham, England. Do your research. Second most multiracial city in Europe. My favorite boxers are Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson, AJ, and Fury. Okay, well, I mean, that's great, Duncan. You know, but this is Wilder saying, talking about gypsies. You guys don't really have as big as a problem as we have over here about racism. So I'm told, right? Terry Dunn, who said they hate Wilder. No, See, it is a thing. Everybody's saying I hate Wilder. You want to believe that because I don't kiss Wilder's ass. That's right, Dominique Miller. Wilder got one loss. So why is it that like people treating it like it's over? I mean, it is some career suicide shit, like because those type of things again should be in court. They shouldn't be outspoken. Things that you really want to present. Well, he has evidence. Take that shit to court. Take that shit to court and present it in court. All the belts are in England, but I still think Wilder could beat both of them on this day. It's boxing. Okay, there you go. One punch does it all. It's a heavyweight division. And you can't blame it on the weight from Wilder because Wilder's not that big. He's like, what, 220 pounds? That's not he's tall, but he's not big like, Joshua 250 at times, Fury 260 something, 270 something. You know what I mean? He's a small dude and he generates that type of power. So you're absolutely right. That could happen. I knew a few gypsies. They love to have a fair fight, one-on-one, win, lose, everything's cool. In my experience, I've never seen them gang up and jump a person. Yeah, they're fighting people, I hear. I hear that. A loss. He was clearly cheated. Dominic Miller, you just said it yourself. He lost once. So a man can't fucking lose. And why, a person that has limited skills like Wilder, he can't lose. How many fights have you seen Wilder getting his ass whooped and he lands a punch and wins? He didn't land that punch this time. What do you think was going to happen? I mean, honestly, do you think all that shit happened? I mean, if you can, let's just think about it. Do you believe in the spike water? Let's go there. Do you believe that Mark Breland spiked his water? Wilder activated the rematch clause 1 week after the fight. Fury said Wilder, the number 2 boxer in the world, out his own mouth. Why Fury running? Who said Fury was running though? If Fury was, that don't sound like a fighter to me that agreed to 3 separate dates. His only thing was, and look, and before Wilder did speak, to be fair, Dominico, before Wilder said all that shit about Fury was like, I want to fight in December. He never said that he wasn't going to fight him. The people that said the contract expired are the people that handled the fucking contracts. You didn't see a contract. I didn't see the contract. We don't know what the contract says. We just know what we are told. We just know the sources that says, hey, this contract is expired. Now, we do have the judge that's looking over all this shit after the fact to make sure, right? But does that mean he's going to fight him? No, it does not. Why? Why doesn't it? Because Wilder already said, if we don't get Fury, so there's no guarantee. There's no, oh, hey, Wilder won this and he won the mediation that. Now, that didn't fucking happen yet. If it would have happened, he would have already said, you know what, we've won, and he ain't fighting another guy because he has to fight me. And if that's the case, Wilder wouldn't be talking about a hit list of other fighters to fight besides Tyson Fury. Facts. That just only makes sense. If he was fighting Tyson Fury, he would have said, you know what? Our mediator, the ex-judge, has decided that Fury has to fight me and he can't fight December 5th. That's why he's not fighting December 5th. That didn't happen. Water not relevant. I can stick to what we can prove. Absolutely, Dominico. I agree with you. Stick to what we can prove. So what the fuck can we really prove? But you did answer the question though, and I'm wondering why. That's all I'm at. What do you believe in the fucking water? Like, answer that question. Don't say it's not irrelevant. Do you believe in that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what can he prove? That he says he can prove that. And if he has to prove that, where does he need to go to prove that shit in court? If Fury fights Wilder, Ozzy Schmidt. If Fury fights Wilder again, the same outcome will happen. Bob Arum voice. I could hear that shit. I could hear Bob. He's gonna fucking trash him again. He's gonna beat the dog shit out of him. He might kill him this time. That's some funny shit. You know Bob, man. Bob talks a lot of shit anyway. How many fucked up losses have we all watched in boxing that weren't TKOs? A lot. What do you believe Fury did as far as cheating? Wilder is correct about Tyson's glove. No one can explain them. Roboski bullet movement. That's something for court. Now, have we seen gloves stretched to that magnitude? Fuck, I ain't. But have we seen someone flick the jab? Yeah. Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, guys that use the jab a lot, that wanted to stay away from their opponent, but never to that degree. But understand these are two different fights that Wilder's talking about. So, to say that there's something in the gloves, though, were the gloves bigger than normal? Because they were a different brand than the gloves in the second fight. We can't prove that Wilder actually activated the rematch clause through saying and doing are two different things. I believe he did, because there's people that saying, the sources said he did. He never said he didn't. No, matter of fact, I know he did because Tyson Fury said that he did. He said that I have to beat Wilder because remember, they were considering giving Wilder step aside money. And then Wilder, and Fury said, I'm not giving him anything. I'm going to beat his out. Shit, I'm not going to give him money. I'm going to beat his ass and then fight Joshua. Remember that? I believe that the people that's benefiting from Fury can use the water to deflect from the relevant matters at hand. Well, it's not that. It's the fact that that's what he claims. Dominico, he claims that Mark Breland spiked his water. I just asked you a question. Do you fucking believe he did that? That's all I'm asking. I believe that the people have been, okay, all right. Kurt, can you tell me why when Tyson Fury was saying, where are you? Let's get the fight done. Shelly, Dante's everybody's quiet like a mouse. Then Tyson Fury moves on Deontay, comes out the closet. Then Ricky Torre. That's absolutely true. You know what I mean? Dominico, that you listen to what Ricky Torre said about that. See, I remember Tyson Fury telling Shelly Finkel, because they were on the Steve Bunce interview in the UK. And Shelly Finkel was, well, we're trying to get a fight. We're trying to get a date and a venue locked in. And he was like, give me a fucking fight. See, that's the thing about Wilder. And it wasn't the fact that Wilder wasn't talking or responding to the glove gate only. He wasn't talking about anything. He wasn't saying, was he in shape? He wasn't saying, was he ready? He wasn't, and then we heard that he wasn't training at all. And these were all sources. And it would be different if it was just some bullshit source origin that no one really believed. These were from different reliable sources that, hey, Wilder has came out and said, hey, you know what? I ain't trained at all. And that kind of made sense because what he said on Brian Custer, he said, well, you know what? We do train and then sometimes we lay off and then we get back at it. So maybe at that time he wasn't training at that time. But who knows? Because Wilder wasn't saying shit. So if you keep hearing something and your team Fury, you're the WBC champion. Wilder wants that fight from you, not the other way around, even though you signed a contract to fight him. But if something happens to the contract, like it is rumored to be done or said or to be true, well, what can you do? Eddie Hearn's number one wish is he wished Tyson Fury was a matchroom fighter. JB Day, maybe now. He didn't before. Fury should be banned from boxing and in jail. Dominique, that's just stupid. Why should Tyson Fury be banned in jail? See, now you reminded me of those people that don't want Deontay Wilder to fight him at all. Do you really think Deontay can beat Tyson Fury? Honestly. Let's put bullshit aside. Yeah, for what reason? D-Town Blast, I'm asking that question too. Best Life. Horsehair gloves hit harder. The gloves can be easily manipulated to expose the knuckles and increase punching power. Best Life. That would be my only alternative for him cheating. Punching the fucking ground, pushing the padding back, and the knuckles are more exposed. That you don't supposed to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't supposed to do that. The referee would have seen it. Well, the referee in the dressing room at the time. Tyson going to put a kitchen sink in the gloves the next fight. Because you know what, Sergey Kovalev, got caught doing that. And they were like, "Hey, you can't do that." This is a fact. Wilder picked the wrong cherry pick that had a murder hornet in it. Yeah, yeah, that's what he had. But I do believe that was a cherry pick. I think Wilder picked it. The team picked it because it was they looked at Fury an easier fight than Luis Ortiz. They thought that Tyson Fury was a fat has been that lost a little weight that's ready to get knocked the fuck out when he returns to the ring. And that's what Deontay Wilder was going to pay him for. He was going to pay him for his namesake, for the name, for the win, for the reputation. Okay, he wanted the name on the resume. That's what Wilder wanted, I feel. He wanted that shit. Fury is the worst cheater in boxing history. Okay. Um, so it's a 50-50 fight. So it's a 50-50 fight. Why you want him in jail then? Johnny Best, Counterpunch to you, brother. Yeah, I like that movie, Snatch. Love from the UK. Keep counterpunching. Joseph Riddler, I will, definitely. Did you think Wilder goes the WBA mandatory route if he can't get the Fury third fight? Makes sense since Robert Helenius is on his list. Yeah, that would be good. Anything besides Fury and fucking Wilder again. That shit, like, dude, I mean, it ain't the fact you get tired of talking about it. You get tired of talking about the same two motherfuckers fighting each other. According to Wilder, the ref was drunk. Just another many excuses. Yeah, I mean, you just looking for shit at that point. In the first fight, wasn't Tyson Fury complaining that the ref that his gloves felt loose and wanted to be fixed or something? Yep, they were too loose. And like it was explained by Ricky Haddon, like a lot of fighters, they want it closer to their fist, but he don't. He likes to flick it. You know, he likes that shit loose. Wilder said he had a snub nose in his glove. Does Wilder still think Tyson has pillow fists? He just thinks he's cheated, so he don't want to. He doesn't want to admit that Tyson Fury hit him and hurt him. That's all that shit really is. The truth shall shit set you free. Andre Rodriguez, Kurt, do you think Joshua will drop the WBO belt in order to fight Usyk, or in order not to fight Usyk? I'm not sure, man. I've heard Eddie, and I got to counterpunch that. There's so many videos that I got to get done where he speaks about that belt. I'll get to it tomorrow, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But yeah. Eddie Hearn explained it in detail. So, it's a few options concerning Usyk. I wonder if Wilder will wear another costume. I don't know. You know what? Best Life. I think that he was better off wearing like the Danny Garcia, the bronze, mask. That shit was fire. I like that. All that other bullshit, that Statue of Liberty, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Shredder looking bullshit. Nah, man, he could kept that shit. That was just too much. Fury and Wilder cherry picked each other. They both could have taken AJ, but they chose each other. Speak your mind, sports talk, counterpunch to you. I 100% agree. They looked at each other and they got look. Like I was on a panel full of Dean White, Johnny Nelson, Pro B's, the knowledge, and I kind of, got closer to what you were saying, but I mean, I think they were in cahoots with each other. They both agreed to shit on Anthony Joshua in order to build themselves up to fight each other. And that's exactly what happened. But Tyson Fury betrayed Wilder. That's exactly what happened. That was the enemy, the friend of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That type of shit. And I think Wilder, he was so busy, pissed off at Eddie Hearn to the point where he was, he was liking the idea. And I really think that was like just some haterade shit. But Tyson joined ESPN and betrayed him. And do you understand? Deontay Wilder was madder then than he was now. Now make that shit make sense. Look at the shit that he called him a bitch, called him a coward, called him, I mean, he just called him a thief and a coward. But back then, he called this man a bitch, a hoe. You think about it. When Tyson Fury signed that contract to ESPN, that pissed Wilder off more than he is right now, based on the way he's reacting. Wilder done the wrong thing by saying all gypsies are cheaters. I can see a lot of hate from Wilder towards gypsies. They already get discriminated. It's just the same as being racist. He's a disgrace. The godfather of boxing. It's bad when you despise one person enough to hate a group of people. That's bad. JB Day. Who the fuck is that guy? That's my Conor and Gregor impression. Deontay Wilder, you need to take some proper 12 before getting in there with the gypsy. He's gonna beat the fuck out of you again. I am from Gypsy Traveler family, and we was raised very strict. Fighting is a moral thing, and all our dad cared about was never quitting in a fight and never fucking cheat. English lad 808. That's interesting. Fury has made boxing fun and relevant again. Wilder trilogy isn't even watchable. Kibby 2 times. Well, I'd say let's get it over with one last time. And I think the whole deal is making up such a noise, such accusations, such a buzz that can spark a third interest to a third fight. When Fury eyes rolled in the back of his eyes when he was knocked out the first fight, the referee should have called the fight a knockout. Dominico Miller. You are true in a sense, Dominico. When a fighter gets knocked down the way Tyson Fury did, normally that happens. But the difference is in with him, he had Jack Reese as a referee. Not saying that he was in on it or anything like that. If you know Jack Reese, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to do your homework, Dominico Miller. Look up Jack Reese and look up fights that he's refereed. And I want you to go and I want you to see what he actually did. Okay. As far as when guys get in his protocol, go watch his protocol. Okay. Go watch his protocol and see what he normally do and does, especially when people barely beat the count. You know what I mean? And then you can make a comparison. Because I know Jack Reese. Jack Reese is that guy that when you may get up on damn there when he's saying 10, you barely made it. He gives you the benefit of the doubt. It was just, look, the cards were in Tyson Fury's favor, for that reason. It all lined up for that particular reason. Because you're right, a lot of other fighters, but what are we bitching about? That's complaining at that point. That's almost like it's a bitch move. Because it's like, okay, I get what you're saying, but really, that's technicality shit. You're complaining about a technicality. Even when someone counts, a 10 count is a 10 count. You see what I'm saying? It's, one referee might count fast. Well, some referees might count slow. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But it's up to the referee and he counts. So the fighter hears the count to gives him indication that he needs to get the fuck up if he's going to get up. And then based on what he does when he gets up, dictates if it's valid or not, because then they give an observation when he gets on his feet. You know what I mean? And like, okay, walk to me, come to me. You know what I mean? Put your gloves up. Then they ask him a question. Hey, can you continue? Those are the type of things a referee does. If the referee thinks, oh, he's kind of wobbly, let's wave this off because you don't even have your feet up under you. Somebody's going to beat the shit out of you and hurt you more than you were before you went down. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to do your homework. Welcome to Counterpunch Boxing News, familia. Welcome to the squad. But I want you to do your homework. And the homework on this is knowing what certain referees do. I got a whole new series about referees. Dirty ones, good calls, bad calls, you know what I mean? Questionable calls, those type of things about referees. And Jack Reese is going to be one of them. And I bet you this, Dominico, if they would have waved it a knockout, I bet you any kind of money that nobody would have said shit about Tyson Fury cheating. Wilder should go with WWE belt with these dudes. That would be good for Wilder. He could say to this day and come out with those with all that shit. I love how Wilder cut off Custer when he was speaking about his own tweet. Yep, that was a trip, Jay. He didn't want to hear that shit. He didn't want to hear. See, it's a hell of a thing when someone using your own words against you. That's one hell of a thing. And I mean, really, look, Jay, really, to be honest, he did that shit twice. He did that shit when, because Brian Custer, all he does is report what fighters or himself already said and asked him what he feels about it and wants him to speak on or elaborate on something that he said. And, Wilder did say, hey, the better man won tonight. He did say that. And Brian Custer was like, okay, well, what changed? Right? If he was knocked out, how he beat the 10 count. He was knocked out several seconds when he was up in the air. He probably was out of it for a few seconds. But even those few seconds wasn't longer than 10 seconds. So, yeah. I mean, Tyson Fury said that he was knocked out for a couple seconds. He said that. But even if he is or not, you still got 10 count. I think the 10 count is important. And again, on technicality, people bitching and pissing and moaning over that. That's just, it is what it is. Jail for the sport of boxing and keep other boxers safe. Attempted murder is jail worthy. Brittany Devine, let's be honest. We know Fury versus Wilder won't happen. Fury ain't looking to endanger the colossal AJ fight. It's worth more than the belts. It's all about the money. Brittany Devine, you're absolutely right. I agree. Because he considered Anthony Joshua as his retirement check. So that's what it is. Happy we're getting an AJ fight this year. This is the worst cherry pick gone wrong. Always got to count out the down fighter. Colby _ You're right. He did in his skull how. Ali and Frazier had 3 fights with no problems. That's right. And when Ali lost, though, Dominico, to be fair, did he piss and moan like Deontay Wilder did? Come on, man. Did he complain about his fucking his right side of his jaw? Because Because, Ali's jaw was swollen from them left hooks that he took from Frazier. It's just not the fucking thing to do, man. You just don't do that type of shit, and you want to be respected. His grandma said he's anointed. Think about it. I mean, he's got that God gifted power. He's anointed with the right hand power, the Alabama sledgehammer. Yeah, they want to ban Tyson Fury for floppy gloves. I know, right? Ruben, silly question. Who are those friends, exes? Ruben. That's who they are. Friends of friends. Some of them. Some of them. I live in Tuscaloosa. I saw the man. Okay, cool. Sweet Lou Johnson. For Fury, that was a tune-up fight. Craig Bennett. Wilder can't admit to himself that he took a dirty beating from a guy he called Pillow Fist. Craig Bennett or Craig Bennett. I think that's probably the realest that anybody could ever say, but will never say. And even the channels, they probably want to say that shit and can't say that shit. But do you understand that Granny did anything? That ain't right, Murley. The man can punch. Fury needs more camps with Sugar before he can come at AJ with supreme confidence. Well, he's gonna get him, maybe. But Ozzy Ock, yeah, they helped each other. AJ didn't want to fight Deontay. Anthony Nelson. Why did he send him all that contract? And why was the zone there? Sounds like Wilder froze himself out. He's calling out Dillian White now to try to get a mandatory spot. It seems he knows he's dropped a bollock. I don't know. Maybe it is strange to see him call out those particular fighters. Yeah, people say something crazy. Anthony didn't want to fight Deontay. That's why he didn't offer him 12.5 or 7 or 12.5 or 15 or 28 with a split. Or, you know what I'm saying? Look, it was so many contracts that people don't even talk about no more because the other team didn't even look at them. Fury can never come at AJ like he did Wilder. He'll get chinned in no time, regardless of how long he's been with Sugar. Paul, you're absolutely right. I believe that. He won't pull that same let me rush in and attack on a guy like that. He's not going to do that especially with somebody that knows how to counter. See, if Wilder don't know how to counter, he just blocks the punches, withstands the assault, and takes the punishment, and then regroups or holds and lets the referee do it, and then he might get his shot off. He doesn't fight on the inside. Wilder don't. He's not that type of fighter, or he's not good at it. Let's say that. The only thing I've seen him throw worth a damn was an uppercut, and he can't get the leverage on it. These are things that we need to be talking about. Who want this and who cheated who and this, that, and the other. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Because what happened when he got in the ring? What did Wilder do to Fury? That's my question. What did Wilder do to Fury? Sweet Low Johnson, explain the dented skull. Okay. Where was the dented skull? I mean, you listen. I'm pretty sure you watch Aki TV. Didn't he say the dented skull is in the mandible? Do you know where the mandible is? This is a question. Where's the mandible? Will Stokes, Katie Taylor will retire undefeated. She's just too good. Although I think, you know what, I really love women's UFC. I really like Amanda Nunes. Like nobody can whoop her right now. She's like the shit to me. The lioness. She's a bad mother sucker. The referee count is final. Tyson and Douglas both got a 14-second count by the stopwatch, but the ref was consistent. Those are the rules. The ref count is final. Philip Carl Roberts, I couldn't have said it any better. Counterpunch to you, brother. That's it. It's how the ref in the sequence and how that's his count. Girl, what's sleeping with you? Deneen, exactly. Sorry, I can't see these high level prize fighters afraid of any fighter. Fury got up at 9 and didn't even wobble or stumble. He was just regular. That is true. Anthony Nelson, Wilder had 50 million, or Frank did. Warren did, or did Frank Warren have 50 million? And that's a good question. Todd Long. Wilder told Fury how to beat him. Calling his hands pillow fists, never tell your opponent how to defeat you. Wilder twerked himself to sleep. Ali claimed he won the first fight and said Frazier went to the hospital and not him. Well, I mean, those are stipulations of what happened after the fact. When an opponent gets knocked down, the referee sends the other fighter to the neutral white corner where they can't get coached and then gives the down fighter 10 seconds to get back up. Well, it's a second count. At the rate, Wilder and fanboys will soon have much excuses as the referee. I'm not a Wilder fan, but nobody can say the man don't have heart. He kept getting up, and that takes heart. Brittany Devine, that's absolutely 100% true. You know, see, the similarities of AJ and Wilder. Wilder was not going down. That's, I guess, and anybody that's in there, your adrenaline is up. He did throw a left before the towel was thrown in. Now, if the towel was thrown in and I mean, the left didn't really do anything to Tyson Fury because, again, no punches that Wilder hit Fury with in that fight did anything to Fury per se. So, but you have to give him credit. Wilder, Fury's punches were hurting Wilder, and Wilder kept coming. And isn't it ironic to allure the accusations that Fury had some shit in his hands or his gloves? Because if he did, that just shows you how tough Wilder is as a person. That still didn't, like he said, you still couldn't keep this king down. You had to kill me. You would have to kill me. So, but I mean, you're right. He did have heart, though. I don't believe that shit. I mean, because they should have caught that. If it was rocks, something that scratched, some type of particle that hit him upside the head or in the ear, I think that shit was just busted. But he said he had scratches in the ear. Okay, well, I don't know. You can't explain that. But the problem is, who will be able to explain that? They would have to have some type of specialist to have something, and on that, that's not even enough. I don't believe, and it's shitty to say, but it's not enough. The Godfather of Boxing, great counter punching tonight. Getting late, catch up. Next, keep up the good work, respect, and good night. The king, the Godfather of Boxing. Good night to you, brother. Wilder didn't have a dent on the side of his head. It looked like a vein. It looked like a swollen part on his temple, and his temple is not the mandible area. This part is not your mandible. This is your fucking mandible. That's why I asked, what's his name? Where is he at? I don't know where he went. Oh, there he is. The temple. That's not the fuck. Sweet Lowell Johnson. The mandible is not right. You said the temple, right? That's where he was. That's not the mandible. Sweet Lowell Johnson, if you're still there, that is not the mandible at all. The mandible is here. This is the mandible. This is your temple. This is where the shit was, right? Okay? That's not, mandible is the hardest part. So, according to Aki TV, he claims that the mandible, he had a dent in his mandible, and that's the hardest bone in the human skull, which is your fucking jaw. Okay? Now, that's where the dent's supposed to be. So, what they were trying to say is, how is it possible that Deontay Wilder had a dent in his skull coming from someone with a hand in the knuckles? So if you punch the mandible, you would break your hand before you would dent that mandible. So they say it was a dent in his mandible, but the damage was up here. So it's just, I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird to try to go back and forth with some people that don't want to even hear subjective reasoning. So, I don't even fuck with it. Kurt, will you ever make it where we can call in? Um, yeah, one day. One day. Sweet Lowell Johnson. Right. So, you see what I'm saying? That's the, I think, I forget what that area is called, but this is actually the soft part. You see what I'm saying? So, but again, you can't go to like what we're doing, Sweet Low Johnson. You can't go over there and ask questions like that because they just block you because they don't want people to ask questions that make them think about what the fuck they're saying. You can do that here. This is why we have these type. See, nobody ain't gonna fucking block you for just having an opinion. We have Wilder fans over here. I'm, believe it or not, a Wilder fan. I support Wilder. I buy his fights. I don't stream the bitches from Fire Stick. I don't watch them illegally. I support his family. I support him. That's the difference. Has that ever happened before? See, I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if it ever happened before, but then that leads to another question. If he had a dent in his mandible, who's said Tyson Fury fucking made it? And then, from what I was told, Sweet Low Johnson, this is what was told to me by one of the good friends of Deontay Wilder, Tay Jones. The man had he had dents from his neck all the way down his spine. So how could he have that? Who the fuck knows? But what did that have to do with the dent in his skull? That's his spine. So there's a lot of different areas associated with this or whatever. So, and if based on what they're saying, it had to be some type of iron blunt object in his gloves. And again, why wasn't that caught? Why wasn't that, you know what I mean? There should have been some investigation about the gloves or whatever. Think about this. Tyson Fury sang for fucking 5 minutes. Do you guys remember that singing Bye Bye Miss American Pie? They inspect those gloves and take them bitches off. That's what whatever, man. I don't know. It just seems like to me that, like it does. I don't even like to bring politics. It does sound like some Donald Trump shit. Like I'm refusing to admit or acknowledge the obvious. You know what I mean? He said he got ear banged by Fury. T. Grant, there was no cheating in the story. All this hype after what said. And see, the thing is, if there was cheating, it wouldn't have been in the magnitude of somebody having some shit in his gloves. If there were horsehair gloves like people said they were, that means he either punched the fucking ground like a lot of people fucking do to push the padding back. So the padding here would be more swollen than this part. You can do that with horsehair, which you don't supposed to do. Again, you don't supposed to fucking do that. Ooh, Lydia Dones. All this is pure karma to what Wilder said and did to Anthony Joshua. You know what? This is that Lydia, great counterpunch. And I believe that shit because there's too many similarities of how the fuck they got beat. Think about it. When Anthony Joshua got beat, who was the happiest man in life? Deontay Wilder. He was with, look, he was with Andy Ruiz like they had grew up together or something. High fiving, chest bumping, giving each other daps, smiling. Andy, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy. I'm the unified champion. I thank God, right? And not only was he happy, he had this to say about Anthony Joshua. Oh, he wasn't a true champion. His whole career was made by contradiction and lies. That's what Deontay Wilder said. And he's a quitter. He said those things about Anthony Joshua. So the question you say, you think about, Lydia, and the rest of who's ever listening, right? Why did why do you think Wilder what did Wilder have against Anthony Joshua to say the shit he said about Anthony Joshua? Do you guys understand the last time Wilder saw Joshua was when Joshua beat Klitschko? That was the last time they were in any ring and had any kind of interaction. You know what I mean? And Joshua, the fight was stopped in the seventh. He was dropped 4 times. Um, he was exhausted. He wasn't bloody like Wilder was, but Wilder's he swells easy anyway, right? But what are the similarities? Okay, Deontay Wilder was dropped a couple times, bleeding, stopped in the seventh, just like Joshua. Right? The only difference is the referee called the fight. It was a TKO, just like Joshua, TKO. Okay, his corner, but even Kenny Bayless said he was going to stop it, and I believe he was because he did that with Conor McGregor. He made sure Conor McGregor just didn't get knocked the fuck out and embarrassed. He was going to do that for Wilder. Believe it or not, he was there for Wilder. For you guys don't believe that he was there for Wilder, he was there for Wilder. He wasn't there for Tyson Fury. You don't take a point from a guy that you're for. Why would you do that? He did that shit to balance out the scorecards because Tyson Fury already dropped Deontay Wilder twice. Come on now. So, but anyway, can you explain to me, Lucian Black? Can you explain to me if everything Wilder said is true? Fury cheated. The ref was drunk. He was drugged. Why isn't he pressing charges criminal rather than demanding a rematch? Well, the question is, why isn't he going after the WBC? Why isn't he going after the ref? Why isn't he trying to sue Mark Breland? Why isn't he trying to, why isn't he doing other things besides that? When Wilder got beat, it was Dillian White's turn. Exactly. Dillian White, guess what Dillian White did to Wilder? He laughed and roasted. You remember Dillian White? Remember that? He got beat so bad. Right? Next fight, boom! White was knocked the fuck out. And he got knocked out more than, look, worse than Joshua or Wilder. They didn't get knocked out, they just got stopped. White got knocked out. So you speak your mind, sports talk. You're absolutely right. White, look, karma. Joshua got beat. He got stopped. Wilder talked shit. Wilder got stopped. White talked shit. Wilder got knocked out. I mean, White got knocked out. So it just goes to show you, it's karma, baby. You planting seeds. The seeds you planted, the seeds is gonna come up. What goes around comes around, and it came back the fuck around. Now the question you ask yourself: what did Anthony Joshua do to to get beat? That's the question you ask yourself. 7 means complete. Best life. Ooh, counterpunch. Candy Crush. To be fair, they both rabbit punched each other all fucking night. And in fact, I'm gonna do when I have time. I'm gonna do probably this weekend since we don't have a fight. I'm gonna do a live, and I'm not gonna even. I'm gonna commentate only on the amount of times we seen illegal shit. That's it. From between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, part two. Sean's Google. He lost. He just lost. I didn't lose. Neither did Deontay. We are winners. We are winners. I am still your president. And Wilder is still your WBC heavyweight champion. We're still the winners. And we grab him by the pussy. But anyway, guys, it's been fun. You guys, I'll get with you guys tomorrow. It's been a dope live chat. Everybody on the chat, thank you guys for your input. Everybody, have a good night, blessed night, and you guys have been counterpunched. Peace.